In Affinity Photo, you can paint with images. Any image, you can paint with it. This is something that Photoshop just can't do. You can get plugins to do this, but in Affinity Photo, you can quickly paint with any image. So how to do this? I've got an image here. Very basic one. It's 2000 by 1400. It's a reasonably sized image. Now, sometimes, of course, you might get documents much bigger than that. And it's probably best to put it down to about 2000. With the layer selected, go to the brushes panel, which you can find in the window menu, and then select category. Now I'm just going to go with pens, but it could be anything. And then go to the right side menu and click here. And then down to new brush from selection. Select that, and you can see now you've got an image brush. You can rename it, modify it in also many ways. So just double click. And this will bring up the brush editor. And you can go here, general, and you can rename it. So house image. And with that, you can change the size. Now you can see it's 2000. I don't want it to be that big, maybe about 400 or so, to apply it across this actual image. You can modify the spacing. And the great thing about this, you've got a preview as well, but you can also apply the brush here. So you can, if you want, apply it like that. You could, of course, if you've actually selected the brush. Really helps. If you don't, you'll notice what happens. It goes completely blank there. So let's just go now and select the paintbrush. Really helpful. And now apply it. And you can see now as I apply it, I can just fill the entire image with that image repeated, obviously over and over again. Doesn't really help particularly unless you change like the spacing. So let's just change that and now apply it. And now you can see you've got multiple copies of that house. And you can, of course, vary it in many other ways as well. You can modify the rotation, so maybe you might want them all to be 45 degrees. So just rotate it, and you can see now, weirdly, it says 15 there, even though it's actually 45. But you can see you can apply it like that. Good thing to set, I always find, is don't set wet edges. And I always prefer, to be honest, put this to wet edges off, because it always seems to have a tendency to put wet edges on. I don't like the result. I prefer it off. But also what you can do, you can go to dynamics. So dynamics, you can modify the size jitter. Now I'm using just a mouse. I've also got an art pad and pen. Of course, I can then use pressure, but I'm using a mouse. So for now, I'm just going to go with random. Wish it could detect that. It'd be nice to actually automatically do that. But it puts it to random, and now you can see you get small and big. And you can see as you vary it like that. And of course, you can still modify this width over here. Maybe just push this down a bit small and get smaller brushes and so on. But you can also click here and you can vary it even more by just changing these settings here. And there's a whole selection of profiles to get maybe bigger or smaller. Also, you might decide, you know what, I want random rotation. Also, maybe scatter it across the entire image and scatter that way. Also, you can modify the hue jitter, and you can see when you do that, you get this color effect. You might not want that, of course, but I'm just going for show example, as well as luminosity jitter. And you can see then, if you apply it, you get this jumble of images all scattered across there. And you can, of course, apply it in countless different ways. Maybe apply it on a layer. Of course, once you've got this image, you might decide, well, I really love this. This would look great on the wall. Maybe not with all these sort of like inverted images. You can then go to File and then Print. And you can print off your house design very quickly. You see there, you've got that, print it off, and then put it on the wall. That sort of thing. You've got other options here for textures as well as sub brushes. And I've done videos showing how to use those as well. So please check those out. Click Close. Now I'm just going to undo. I'm just going all the way back to the original image. You don't have to have the entire image. You might decide, you know what, the house is really what I want, so I just want to select a part. So all you need to do is just select, say, that part. I decide you don't want all the other things. Well, then you can go over here and then down to New Image Brush. You think it's not selected, but what you do, you make certain it's always selected here. It doesn't see it. It doesn't see it unless you've got it selected here. So brushes, then go over here again and New Brush from Selection. And now that's added. And you can do exactly the same as before. You can see now, obviously, the size is slightly smaller because obviously that selection is a bit smaller than the image. And you can reduce this down, modify again the spacing, maybe spread that out a bit more, modify rotation there. And again, set wet wet edges off. I always have to remember to do that. One of those annoying features for me. And then size, again, always defaults to. It would be nice if you could set up a default setting for your brushes. Fortunately, there doesn't seem to be a feature to always please use random. And then scatter, of course, just to spread it across the image. And again, close. And just going to move the selection. Don't want that anymore. Again, make certain you select the paintbrush and then apply. And you can see now you've got that house design there, but this time it's isolated down to just the house and not all the surroundings. You can also, of course, use other selections as well. You don't have to use this. You could use elliptical, but also you can go for, say, a feather. So you can just set that, or maybe make even more complex. You can see you've got selection modes here. So you can select that, maybe go over here and make some add. And you can see now I can add another one there. So I just drag over there, drag over there, drag there. So you've got a slightly more complex style. You've also got feather here. Exactly the same as before. You can now go over here to the brushes, make certain it's selected, then new brush from selection. Now it's selected, added here. Again, make certain you don't keep the selection running there, and double click and you can see your design there. And again, exactly the same as before. Go to general, you can change the spacing. You can see you've got this sort of blobby design applied to your brush. And exactly the same as before. You can modify rotation, dynamics, rotation jitter. You can just make it like that. There's also many options. Really good one is cyclic. And also size jitter, again, go for random if you're using, like me, a mouse. And then hue jitter again. And you can see you can create a variety of designs using this. And again, go to the paintbrush and then apply it. And you can see you get this effect. And again, you can always reduce size down. I think 1300 is probably a bit too big. And you can see now you get this weird abstract design from your house. And with that, again, file, and then you can print off and save it like that for a lovely poster on the wall. And click cancel. Don't want to print it. Hope you found this of interest. Any questions about this tool, technique, please let me know in the comments below. Always great to hear from you. A like or dislike, always appreciated. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Always adding new videos about Affinity Photo, as well as Photoshop and other applications. Bye.